Broncos country, what's going on? Hey, got some. What the heck's going on with my mic? It's falling down right now. Oh no. We got some awesome news here though. Visiting. What the heck? Sorry, y'all. This is what happens when I go live. Sean Payton's going to be getting Bo Nix some new weapons, all right? We saw some great news today. Not only, or I guess yesterday, Luther Burden making a top 30 visit with the Denver Broncos today, which is awesome. We get 30 visits to where we can host potential NFL draft picks. Luther Burden is one of them. But also, the Colorado Showcase, the Colorado Pro Day was on Friday on NFL Network. I got to watch a little bit of it. And to no surprise, Sean Payton spent an extensive amount of time with Will Sheppard after that pro day, which if there is one of the Buffs wide receivers that I feel like is the best fit for this offense, it's Will Sheppard. So that doesn't surprise me at all. Of course, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Just want to say hello to everybody. Hey, what's going on, Marky? Hope you're having a great way. Hey, that's the best way to start a video. Yeah, when my setup falls apart, man. What's up with that? Mic'd up live. What's going on, Mike? But let's go ahead and dive into the details. Y'all be sure to smash that like, subscribe, and let's go ahead and get started. So let's pull up. Thank you to, whoops, wrong tab. NFL trade rumors, their 2025 NFL draft visit tracker. You can see on here every single visit the Broncos have had, whether it's with the combine, pro days, private workouts, or top 30 visits. Troy Pauline reported here, Colorado wide receiver Will Sheppard met at length with the Broncos head coach Sean Payton following his pro day. Big time news. Big time news here. We'll dive into his draft profile here in a bit, but we'll just cover all the other private workouts and pro day visits that they've had. We've met with Nick Denver, which is awesome. I don't even know how to pronounce this college. Ouachita Baptist safety Josiah Johnson met with the Broncos at his pro day. BYU cornerback Marky Collins met with them at the Big 12 pro day. Marcus Harris, cornerback from Cal. Defensive end Xavier Carlton from Cal met with the Broncos following their pro day. And Warrior quarterback Taylor Elgersma, a Canadian prospect who received an invite to the Senior Bowl, met extensively with the Broncos at the Buffalo pro day. So that's interesting. But really, the two that I'm paying attention to the most is Will Sheppard and Nick Denver. Seems like his stock has kind of returned to earth a little bit, which is awesome. He definitely could be an option for us in the first round, or if we decide to trade back, maybe he's even there in the second for us, which I think would be really cool. But let's also get into the top 30 visits. Big time news here at the top. Mike Kliss reporting that the Broncos had Luther Burden in this weekend for a visit, and he's definitely a wide receiver with a lot of juice. I think that if I'm coming up with maybe my list of top 5 wide receivers that I would love to see the Broncos draft, Luther Burden's on that list just because of his absolute explosiveness and athleticism. But we also have a handful of other guys that have visited on here. I want to point out Eastern Washington wide receiver Efton Chisholm. Could he be the next Cooper Kupp? He had a fantastic Shrine Bowl. Harold Fannin Jr., maybe somebody that we could draft on day 3 at the tight end position. I think, could profile as that big slot. We've also had visits with Caleb Johnson, Vernon Broughton from Texas, Terrence Ferguson, Jaden Blue, Gunnar Helm, Quinshon Judkins, some other guys that stick out to me, DJ Giddens from Kansas State, that running back. How about Cam Miller from North Dakota State? Will take an official visit. I don't know if that's happened yet, but Cam Miller's a guy that we've talked about him. Could profile to be kind of that Taysom Hill type of guy. I don't think he gets drafted. Not the most polished passer, but a winner. Obviously, national champion at North Dakota State. A guy has legs. He's just a darn good football player, and I think we could hide him away on the practice squad as our third quarterback if we needed to or wanted to. But let's go ahead. Let's get into the production profile, I guess, of these wide receivers that I visited. Of course, PFF has Luther Burden ranked as their number 2 receiver, not including Travis Hunter, but you can see the production dropped off quite a bit this past year with Brady Cook just absolutely nosediving, but still a very productive receiver. Still had 6 touchdowns this year. 676 yards, okay, but had over 1,200 yards in 2023 when Missouri just had an incredible season. Can play in the slot, which is probably primarily where he'll play, but I do think he's got the athleticism and juice to play out wide. As you can see, didn't really line up a ton out wide, but I think that there is a lot of potential for his development here. So I think he's got pretty sure hands, only 3 drops on the year. You'll take that. And yeah, so Luther Burden, he's definitely a prospect that I think we should get excited about if we decide to go that route with one of our top picks. He's a wide receiver that some might say is a little redundant with Marvin Mims, but I don't think so. I think that you can use him in some different ways. Now, let's continue on to Will Sheppard. I really love Will Sheppard. 6'3", 205 pounds. He has that type of that prototypical X type of body structure to him. He's a guy that I could see. Let's say we extend Cortland Sutton a year or two, right? He's somebody that I think could eventually take over that type of role, possibly. I think you can get him on day 3 in the 6th round, no doubt about it. Now, what's awesome is that, I mean, at CU, we pay attention to everything. The 2 drops that he had this year were like crucial, but outside of like those 2 crucial drops that he had, which, I mean, we still won the game against Baylor, he was shorthanded. He's got great hands. I believe he's got big hands as well. Was previously at Vanderbilt where he had a great season there in 2023, almost 700 yards, 8 touchdowns. Here at CU, the ball was spread around a little bit more to 4 wide receivers essentially, and he still definitely was very efficient. 13 yards a reception, 6 touchdowns. You can play him in the slot, but he can also play out wide. Contested catch rate over 50%, that's fine. Drop rate, again, it's under 5%, so that's really, really great. Grade versus man coverage at 68.1. That's definitely above average. And I think that he can run a lot of those routes that Cortland Sutton runs very comfortably. So, and doesn't have an ACL tear or anything like that. Definitely has some more long speed and explosiveness to his game, I think, right now than Cortland Sutton has. But Cortland Sutton obviously is a seasoned vet. He can run those routes better. But a lot of potential with Will Sheppard. Does not surprise me that Sean Payton wanted to spend a lot of time with this guy. He absolutely is a day 3 target for me. And if for some reason something goes wrong and he goes undrafted, he needs to be a priority. And I think that the Denver Broncos would be a preferred destination for him because, again, it's Dove Valley's like 45 minutes, an hour away from Boulder. And yeah, UDFAs don't usually get a ton of money. You want to stay local, but I do think he gets drafted. I think that right now he's the guy outside of Travis and Shedeur that I think has the best shot of getting drafted from CU because he does play that prototypical pro style, wide receiver position. It's got that frame. He's got the frame, the explosiveness, and I think he's a good blocker too. So very interesting to see that we kind of had a visit over the last couple of days with 2 different profiles of wide receivers. But man, Luther Burden, if we can add both of these guys, that would, oh man, wouldn't that be exciting? Will Sheppard, he's also going to give you some juice on special teams in terms of coverage. Very important. While I do like guys like Marvin Mims for the return game, Luther Burden, I'm not sure if he's done any special teams returning, but I think that, hey, if you would put him back there, like on kickoff, I'm very interested to see what he could do. But you don't really want those types of guys like going out there making tackles. Will Sheppard's a guy that he can kind of be anywhere on your depth chart, and I think you're still going to get really good special teams play out of him as well, which I think is going to do him some favors with his draft stock. Because again, 6'3", 205 pounds, and plays wide receiver. So yeah, we'll have to see. But guys, I'll get into some of your comments right now. Let me pull up Luther Burden's page again, and we can take a look. Whoops, and see where I get my siren emojis. Luther Burden right here. Respect my coves. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Sheppard taking Franklin's spot. Oh, man, you're killing me. Well, I'm telling you right now, respect my coves. If we draft 2 wide receivers, man, yeah, Troy Franklin's definitely going to have to fight for his spot, man. I'm right there with you. Now, I'm choosing to be on the Troy Franklin hype train because I just need to will it into existence. He changed his number. That's got to be some good juju, right? But Will Sheppard, is he more ready to play in this offense right now than Troy Franklin? He very well could be. He very well could be. Yeah. Andy, I was very excited to see Vernon Broughton on the top 30 list, pick 85 maybe. Yeah, sneaky pick on the defensive line. William in the chat, what's going on, man? Does Luther Bird have character concerns? What is this comment? Not does Luther Burden have character concerns? Not want does Luther Burden have character concerns? Not wanting does Luther Burden holy shit. Sorry for my language. All right, we're just gonna read this one. Does Luther Burden have character concerns? From what I've listened to with some of from people who know the NFL draft and dive into it a little bit deeper than I do, or a lot deeper than I do. Yeah, I think there is a little bit of concern with him on, not always being fully checked in to the game if he's not being involved early at certain points. I don't know if I would call that like a legitimate character. Like he's not out there getting arrested. He's not, killing people doing DUIs. He's not, drop kicking pregnant women or kicking women in elevators, anything like that. He doesn't have any gun issues. So if it's just, you're wanting to make sure you're getting better effort consistently from play to play, I think he has to work on that. But I don't know if I would call that like a red flag. To me, that's not a red flag. I think that's something that you can work with. Now, I do got to circle back on the Tet McMillan thing. Do I see him, even though that video is from a while back of him saying he doesn't love football or love to watch football? I don't know if that really changes. Like, that is a red flag to me. Now, if Luther Burden comes out and he doesn't like watching football or he doesn't like watching film, that's a little bit more concerning for me. But if it's just with like effort level, if he's not being involved enough in the game plan, that is concerning, but it's not going to take him off my board. Like just flat out saying, I don't like watching film and we're supposed to use a first round draft pick on you. I don't want to risk it with those guys. Now, if those guys fall the second round, I'm much more willing to take a risk on a guy that doesn't have a closer to, perfect draft profile or, profile. Andy says, I've asked about it, William, regarding the character concerns and haven't found anything conclusive. If anything, he's just a diva, but nowadays every good wide receiver is. Yeah, probably the only like non-diva out of like the top guys, I think, is probably Emeka Egbuka, which I would be excited to have him out here. No doubt about it. Continue this egoless, offense, man. I like it. Let's not have anybody get in the way of things. Yeah. Emeka or we storm the castle. I don't know, man. I find myself going back and forth. I would still be okay with a first round running back. Am I having a stroke? Yeah, I think William probably had some copy paste issues, but man, it's all right, man. Like I started this video with, my mic was falling off, my stand, all of that. It's Sunday. I was up late watching, it totally wasted my time watching that Japanese Grand Prix, the F1, man. What a boring race. There was like no passing. There was like no overtaking. It was the most boring. That's the thing with F1, man. That's the thing with F1. Sometimes you'll tune in, you'll stay up late, or you'll wake up early. And yeah, it's boring. It's boring. I'm wasting my time doing that. Slept in today. Anyways, Marky's saying, yeah, Luther Bird, he's not a Kansas City Chief. Yeah. So if he's not Kyron Lacey from LSU, who's a talented guy, but he killed somebody, driving drunk, man. No, man. We're not doing that now. John Elway might have signed those guys, a time or two, but we're not messing with that anymore. We don't do that. So, anyways, guys, I think like right now, maybe I'll get into like an official top 5 here later on, like today. But let's go ahead and let's just do something fun here really quick. If I had to rank like, this isn't the 5 best overall guys, but the guys that like I think I would just really love it if the Broncos drafted. These 5 in like no particular order. Luther Burden, Emeka Egbuka, of course, like Matthew Golden. He's awesome, but I don't know if he's gonna be there at 20. But man, guys, I really like Jaden Higgins. I really like, again, he's the type of guy that you can see taking over for Courtland Sutton, 6'4", 215. He absolutely crushed it at the Senior Bowl. And I just like my wide receivers bigger. So, yeah, maybe I'll take these guys out. Hey, how about Emeka Egbuka, Jack Bash? I really like Jaden Higgins. Out on Trey Harris. I know Andy really likes Trey Harris, but I'm out on Trey Harris. I still really like Jalen Royals. I haven't talked about him in a while, but a guy that I think is very, very intriguing. Shout out to Mile High Mario for giving him some shine because we haven't really talked about it. Is Savion Williams. Again, if you're just drafting a guy totally based on potential, and hey, he's got all the physical traits, we just need to develop him into a route runner. It's Savion Williams. Right now, I don't really think he's a great route runner. And yeah, I guess you could kind of use him in some Deebo Samuel type of ways, like sure. But I guess like Demaryius Thomas wasn't the best route runner coming out either. Like he had a pretty limited route tree coming from Georgia Tech, and it did take him a little while. But again, what are some of the things that you can't teach? That size, the frame, 6'5", 225, blazing speed. Yeah, you just can't teach that. No doubt about it. So we'll have to monitor Savion Williams, but I think I am warming up to him a little bit, and probably I think like one of the highest ceiling guys in the draft this year, just because of his like measurables and explosiveness. Out on Ches Johnson, unless he falls to like the 6th round. Out on Torrey Horton. Again, man, I just don't think he's very bright. The way that he was talking, going into that CU matchup, just no brains at all. Like he's off my board, to be honest, man. So yeah, I'll need to figure out like a top 5. Maybe I'll do for like, yeah, guys that I think could become like legitimate, wide receiver 1 options. I still really do like Alec Iomanner, but I like a lot of these guys. I don't know if I absolutely love any of these wide receivers to where it's like, we have to make sure we get one of these guys. I guess if there's one guy that I had to put at the top of my list right now that I think would be the best fit would be Jaden Higgins. He's probably the guy that I like the most, but I don't love any of these guys, to be quite frank. Andy saying, I've cooled on Trey Harris the past few weeks. Production is off the charts, but man, that Ole Miss offense is hard to tell how a player will translate to the NFL. Yeah, and I mean, until we just see somebody do it from Lane Kiffin's offense, I'm not going to be the one to take that chance. He's already 23 years old, late breakout. No, thank you. Just no, thank you. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a fantastic day. Be sure to check out all my friends. We had Kodiak Broncos podcast going live with Marquee Sports and mic'd up last night. I still have to check that out. I was too busy playing Schedule 1, my video game. And please be sure to follow CU Andy on Twitter as well. Subscribe to his Substack for his draft content. It's fantastic. We'll see y'all later. Go Broncos.